How friends treat you at every level of success. Level 1. Unemployed. You wake up at 11:40 in the morning. Nobody wakes you up anymore. The group chat is still open from last night, still scrolling with plans you weren't invited to make and weren't expected to join. You don't check it first thing anymore. You check it last, after coffee, after you've already decided today doesn't matter much either way. Your friend Danny texts the group. Drinks Friday, my treat. Just got a bonus. You read it twice, not because you're happy for him, because you're doing the math on what happens if you show up and can't order anything and have to explain why for the third time this month. You don't respond right away. You never do anymore. Silence is cheaper than an excuse. 2 hours later, Danny texts you directly. Just you. You good, man? Haven't seen you post anything in a while. It's kind. It's also the first time in 3 weeks anyone's checked on you specifically, and you notice that, and you hate that you notice it. You say you're fine. You say work stuff. Keep it vague because the truth, still looking, still nothing, has started to feel like a confession you're tired of making. Friday comes. You don't go. Nobody asks why the second time. That's the part that actually hurts. Not the first time you say no. The fact that after enough no's, people stop asking the question at all. The first rule. At 0, the invitations don't stop. Your presence in them does. Level 2. First real job. $19 an hour. A badge with your name on it. A schedule that isn't yours to choose but at least exists. You go to Danny's Friday thing again for the first time in 2 months. You order a drink. You pay for it yourself without checking your account first. Small thing. Feels enormous. Nobody claps. Nobody notices you've climbed anything. To them, you were never gone. You were just busy. And busy is a story everyone accepts without asking follow-up questions. You start posting again. Not bragging, just living. A gym selfie. A plate of food you cooked instead of ordered. Danny likes it within 4 minutes. He always does. He's the fastest like in your life, and you've never once thanked him for that, because you never noticed it was consistent until you needed it to be. Your friend Priya asks how the new job is. You tell her. She says that's great, genuinely, and moves on to her own thing, her internship, her plans, and that's fine. That's what a normal friendship sounds like. Nobody owes you a longer conversation than the update deserves. The second rule. At the bottom of stability, friendship costs nothing extra. You're just back in the room. Level 3. Promotion. $65,000. You move into a one-bedroom you don't share with anyone. You buy a couch that matches nothing else you own on purpose, because for the first time the apartment is entirely yours to get wrong. You host something for the first time. Not a party, just people over. Pizza, a movie. Danny brings wine he clearly picked out to look more expensive than it was, and you let him have that, because you understand now what that gesture actually is. It's not showing off. It's trying to match the room. Priya says your place is nice in a tone that has one extra beat in it you didn't hear from her a year ago. Not jealousy exactly. Recalibration. She's doing the same math you did at Danny's Friday thing, except now you're the one on the other side of it, and you don't notice yet that you've changed seats. Someone asks what you do now. Exactly. At a party you didn't throw. You tell them. They nod a little longer than the answer requires. You've become slightly more interesting to strangers for reasons that have nothing to do with you, and everything to do with a number attached to your name that you didn't say out loud. The third rule. The first real promotion doesn't change your friends. It changes the room's temperature by 1 degree, and only some people feel it. Level 4. $110,000. Your own place gets bigger. So does the distance, though nobody would call it that yet. You stop being able to relate to certain conversations without noticing you've stopped. Danny vents about rent going up $200. You used to feel that in your chest. Now you feel it somewhere further away. Sympathetic, but not shared. And you hate how quickly that happened. How you didn't choose it. It just moved. You pay for dinner one night without thinking about it. Not to show anything. You genuinely forget it's a decision now instead of a calculation. Priya notices. She doesn't say anything, but she orders slightly less than she wanted, and you don't catch that either. Not that night. A friend from years back reaches out of nowhere. Hey, been a while. How's everything? You're happy to hear from him for exactly 4 minutes, until the 5th message. So, actually, I'm working on something. I think you'd be a great fit as an investor. Small amount, huge upside. You read it twice. You recognize the shape of it before you finish reading. A joke wrapped around a question nobody's brave enough to ask directly. The fourth rule. The moment people believe you can help them, some conversations stop being conversations and start being pitches wearing a friend's face. Level 5. $250,000. You start your own thing. It works. Slowly, then not slowly. Your circle quietly splits into two without a single argument causing it. Some friends lean in, ask real questions, want to understand what you built, and something in the way they ask tells you they're proud, not performing pride. Others go quiet in a way that isn't hostile, just tired, like watching someone pull ahead in a race they didn't know they were still running. Danny starts a business too, around this time. Something unrelated, something he's excited about in the loud way he gets excited about things. He asks you for advice. You give it honestly. He takes some of it and ignores the rest, the way people do when they've already decided the ending and just want company on the way there. You don't push. You've learned that pushing costs you the friendship faster than staying quiet does. Priya gets married. You're at the wedding. Somebody at your table, someone you barely know, asks what you do for a living and then asks a second question before you finished answering the first. You realize slowly that you're being networked at a wedding, and you smile through it because that's what the night calls for. And later, alone in the car, you feel a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with the hour. The fifth rule: success doesn't lose you friends. It reveals which ones were friends with you and which ones were friends with your potential. Level 6. 7 figures. The business gets written up somewhere. Not huge, but enough that people you haven't spoken to in a decade find your number again. An old college friend messages you like no time passed at all. Dude, saw the article. We have to catch up. You say sure, half meaning it, mostly curious. 40 minutes into the call, he mentions he's between jobs. He never asks a single question about your life. Not one. You realize afterward that the whole call was a resume you didn't ask to receive. Danny, meanwhile, doesn't message you for 2 weeks after the article. Then he does, and it's not about the article at all. It's about his kid's birthday, a stupid video of the dog. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with money. And you realize that's the whole test you didn't know you were running. The people who go quiet when you win and come back with nothing to ask for are the only ones who are never counting. You get invited to a panel. A stranger in line afterward calls you an inspiration and asks for a photo. It's flattering for about 10 seconds, and then it's strange, because you remember being nobody's inspiration 11 months ago, sitting in the same body, saying the same jokes, worth the same amount as a person, even if not the same amount on paper. The sixth rule: the version of you people admire from a distance is rarely the version your real friends actually love. They loved the other one first. Level 7. The exit. 8 figures, all at once, on a Tuesday. The kind of number that doesn't feel real on a screen. You don't tell anyone for 3 days. Not because you're hiding it, because you're trying to figure out what it changes before you let it change anything out loud. Danny finds out from someone else, the way these things always travel, and he doesn't ask for anything. He shows up with beer, the cheap kind, on purpose this time, not the expensive-looking wine from years ago, and he says one sentence: "Proud of you, man, truly," and leaves it there. Doesn't circle back to himself once all night. Priya sends a text that's 4 words long. "So happy for you." No question mark asking what's next. No opening for a favor. Just the sentence, sitting there, complete. Other people you barely remember start appearing in your inbox with familiar warmth attached to unfamiliar requests. A cousin of a friend, a guy from high school you spoke to twice. The requests are never framed as requests. They're framed as opportunities you'd be lucky to be part of. You start doing something you never used to do. You wait, not out of coldness, out of self-preservation. You let 2 weeks pass before responding to anyone new, because you've learned that urgency is usually the tell. The people worth keeping don't disappear in 2 weeks. The people worth worrying about only appear because they heard the number. The 7th rule: money doesn't corrupt your friendships. It just speeds up the reveal of what they were always going to become. Somewhere right now, someone is checking a group chat for the 3rd time today, hoping to be included in something they weren't invited to plan. They think this is about being left out. It's not. It's about who stays in the room after there's nothing left to gain by standing in it. Danny still texts you first, still likes your posts in under 4 minutes, still hasn't asked you for a single dollar in 11 years. You never told him that's the only resume that ever mattered to you.